Today is second Sunday in the ordinary time of the year. In today's reading, the point to discipleship. Discipleship entails following Jesus in loving Him, in imitating Him, and in being with Him. We have stages of discipleship or characteristics of discipleship. One is divine calling. We have human response. We have commitment to the call. And we have stewardship. On divine calling, the vocation of discipleship is a divine initiative. In the first reading, we have the story of young Samuel who hears the voice of the Lord for the first time. Samuel will grow up to be a great prophet of the Lord and become the leader of the autonomous Israelites tribe. In the gospel, Jesus says to Andrew and his companion, "Come and you will see." Next, you will see in the gospel where Jesus says to Philip, "Follow me," according to the Gospel of John chapter 1, verse 43. He will later tell his disciples in John chapter 15, verse 16, "It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you and appointed you to bear fruits that will remain." Human response. In the first reading of today, Eli instructed Samuel on what to do, which enables Samuel to finally answer the voice of the Lord. "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening," in 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 9 and 10. Upon the invitation of Jesus, Andrew and his companion go and see where Jesus is staying, and they stay with Jesus that day. On being invited by Andrew, Simon goes with him to Jesus, and Nathanael does the same to Philip, who tells him, "Come and see," in the Gospel of John chapter 1, verse 46. This is a human response to discipleship. In discipleship, we ought to be committed to the call. Commitment entails loyalty, fidelity, dedication to God, to Jesus, and the gospel he preaches. Samuel remains in the sanctuary of the Lord in Shiloh under the tutelage of the priest Eli. The first 5 disciples of Jesus will form the nucleus of the 12 apostles who accompany Jesus in his preaching. The 12 will remain with Jesus even as many of his followers will no longer accompany him. We could remember when Jesus told the disciples or his followers, "I will give you my flesh to eat and my blood to drink." They all deserted Jesus. But the disciples, the 12, remains when they profess, "If we leave you, to whom shall we go to?" In integrity of life, to be a disciple is to mirror the Lord's goodness and righteousness, even as one continues to struggle with human weaknesses. In his long service to the Israelites, Samuel could not be accused of corruption, oppression, or bribery. In 1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 4, testifies this. When the Israelites themselves acknowledge that Samuel did not cheat nor oppressed them, nor accepted anything from them. At the Last Supper, Jesus prays to the Heavenly Father to protect the disciples he has given to him. They have kept the Father's word, which Jesus has revealed to them in the Gospel of John, chapter 17, verse 6. In the stewardship as a disciple, in his praise of Israel's ancestors, the book of Sirach has this to say of Samuel: beloved of his people, dear to his maker, pledged in a vow from his mother's womb. As a trustworthy prophet, he was sought out, and his words proved him to be a true seer. In turn, Jesus tasked Peter to tend his flock. And this shepherding and stewardship of the believers in Jesus is entrusted to the Apostolic College, the pillars of the early Christian community. Therefore, we are called today, in today's reading, to be disciples of Jesus, to follow him by imitating him, by loving him, and by obeying his words. We ask the good Lord to give us the courage to be steadfast in our calling, to be faithful in dealing with others in the things of God. May God give us the strength to remain ever faithful to his calling. This is our prayer.